Hello, it's Bailey and welcome back to my channel. It's time for me to recap another jokes episode. I am sitting down in the middle of like a busy day here to fill you in on the books I read for round 1 episode 5. Spoiler, this is the last episode of this round. I am finishing the board today, and so I'm feeling very fresh starty. I know we're like coming up on the halfway point of the year. It's June, Wonderthon's about to happen. I feel like I'm coming out of a little bit of a seasonal depression, if you will. So I have not been reading that much. It did take me like all of this time that I've been away to read these things, but I did finish some things I want to fill you in, and I'm hoping then that I can put a good foot forward for round 2 this year. So let me show you those card flips and then I'll let you know what I read for those prompts. All right, it is time for round 1 episode 5. I did not make it very far in the last episode. I think I made it from here to here. Our game piece today is this chocolate chip teddygram. So back with the food piece jokes pieces. We were up here on wrapped. We're trying to make it back down here to wrapped. So let's see what 3 card flips can do for me. A 3. So I'm gonna have to read 3 books, or maybe not. So I do all 3. So it's NetGalley, Readathon. So I'll earn a week of doing a readathon, and book club. And then another 3. Oh no. Then I'm getting friend fave, wrapped, and mood read. Last card flip. This is a lot of books, friends. And a 10. That might finish the round. Yeah, that's definitely finishing the round for us at least. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good news. So I'm reading like 7 or 8 books for this. Wish me luck. I will let you know what those books are shortly. Okay, so first things first, I got the NetGalley prompt, which lately I've been like forgetting that NetGalley exists. So it was good for me to get on here and read this book. What I ended up reading was Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell. And I had been highly anticipating this. I was so happy I got approved for it. And then of course, I let the time that it came out come and go. But I did have it, and I did end up really enjoying this one. Am and was in my teenage years a really big Rainbow Rowell fan, so I was happy to see that she was releasing an adult romance, and I did end up enjoying this. This is a second chance, like childhood friends to lovers romance, and overall I felt really good about it. It was by no means like a new favorite. I love the green on the cover. It was a good fun read. I think in this time when I was reading that book, I was really in the mood for it, so I had a really good time reading it. And yeah, I gave it 4 stars, and I hope that Rainbow I hope she keeps coming around. The next prompt was a book club prompt, and for that one, we're really throwing it back here. I slotted in Keeping Finance Personal by Elise Fulmore. This was a finance book that we read for the Junie B. Jones read along every other month. If you didn't know, we read a nonfiction book along with the children's series. And so I think this was probably like March, and we read this finance book. I thought it was okay. I thought some of the sentiment was good, some was bad. I think a lot just depended on your views in finances and how much like discipline is important to also like enjoying your life. And I do think that Elise had some good points of like, don't ruin your life for being miserable, but also like, I personally have a little bit more attitude of like discipline is good. So I think that was a good discussion all around, because I know that for those of us who participated, a lot of us view things differently. And I think overall this wasn't bad. There was no like flat out bad advice. I also just didn't take a lot away from it. So I ended up giving it 2 stars, but I always love doing the nonfictions, and it is fun to have differing opinions in a book club. Then I had the friend fave prompt, and I do not even want to talk about this, because this was like my most anticipated book of the year, and it's been a while now since I finished it, but I chose Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll, and I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. I'm a Ted Bundy fan, like not in that way, just like I know the case a lot. I like consuming information about the case. I find it really interesting. I'm obviously not a fan of the man. He did terrible bad things, but this was like a fictionalized telling of Ted Bundy's crimes, except he is not mentioned. So it's focused on the victims, and I just didn't really like the way it was written. I didn't like Jessica Knoll's writing, and I didn't like the way that we were presenting the women, as it should be like showing them, if you're gonna focus on the women, I think it should have been showing them in a better light. Not to be unrealistic, but I just felt like they were kind of dumbed down, and that's like against the point of the Bright Young Women like title. And I just was kind of bored, honestly. I do know the case, so like nothing was surprising, and I was sad to be disappointed. I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. And then I did unwrap a book, and it was Mine Till Midnight by Lisa Kleypas, and I ended up DNFing that one. The writing style wasn't working for me. I wasn't getting into it. I wasn't rooting for the couple, and I decided to let that one go. That's one, again, all the books that are wrapped are things that have been sitting on my TBR for a long time, so I wasn't vibing with it. I said, you know what, I don't have to do it, so I didn't, and that's off my TBR now. Then I got a mood read prompt, which is oh so nice. So I get to pick whatever I wanted to read, and I again picked a nonfiction that we read for the Junie B. Jones read along series, and I picked Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal, and this one I ended up really liking. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I had not watched Ali Abdaal. He makes YouTube videos about productivity also, and I was not familiar with him when I picked this book, so I chose to read the book and then come in and kind of watch some of his content. I haven't fallen in love with his content, but I do think his ideas around productivity were good and like important and insightful, and this is something I would read again. I think there was like good solid advice here, and the narrative like flowed very well. Definitely a nonfiction book I would recommend. And then lastly, for prompts that I landed on, I got the good news prompt again, and I found an article that listed books that are being adapted, and I owned one of them, which means I have to read it. If it's on the list and I own it, I have to read it. And so it's not a 2025 release, but I read Long Bright River by Liz Moore. This is actually the one that I like just finished, most recently finished. And I also own The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. It's also wrapped back there somewhere. So I did unwrap this to read it, and I've owned this for quite a while, like when it came out from Book of the Month. And I knew that it had something to do with drug-related crime, but I was actually really pleasantly surprised how much I liked this one. I think right away the writing style just really clicked for me, and I was into it. And again, I read this really fast. I think the reason I put this off for so long is it is kind of chunky for like a mystery, but this is definitely just kind of something that's up my alley. It follows a cop and her sister like is in drug addiction, and just kind of their story, where they've been, what's happening. Her sister's missing, she's trying to find her, and just the different webs that they're both entwined in this town. It was really good. It makes me excited to read The God of the Woods, because the only reason I had purchased The God of the Woods was for a book club that then I ended up not like making it to, so I never read it. But enjoying this makes me happy that I own another one, and I'm hoping that one works just as well for me. I think I gave this one 4.5 stars as well. And then I am going to throw a stats book in here. It's been a long time since I read this one. I think this was February. Shelf this, potentially. And we read Desert Creatures by Kay Chronister, and I didn't like it. I don't remember if I gave it like a 2-star. I'm guessing I gave it somewhere around a 2-star, but it was a journey book. The plot didn't make sense. I think overall we all thought it was like trying to do things that it didn't do. There were maybe some larger concepts that I didn't understand, but we read that one. And so that I can slot that in for stats for catching up on book clubs, because like I said, I've not been reading that much and I'm not keeping up with any of my things. But there, I told you about all these books I read, which means that now hopefully I can do better and start round 2. I'm sorry to do these this way. This is really just me popping in saying like, hi, I miss you guys, I love you, I'll be here soon hopefully. I really am feeling better, so I'm planning on being here. If you have not signed up for Wonderthon yet, that is starting this week. I'm hoping this video's posting, and then Wonderthon's starting this coming Saturday. So if you're not participating in that, I have an announcement here. Lizzie from Lizzie's Literary Life, who is the host, has an announcement as well. Please join us. it's my favorite readathon ever, and I'm really excited going into that. So after Wonderthon, I will be sitting down and starting round 2. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.